This part of the year is a beautiful time. The NBA Finals are about to get underway, and the tension can be cut like a knife through butter. Let's make things a little more intense, shall we? Thanks to my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook, they're cooking up a sweet deal. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 on any game and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. This isn't a bluff, but a blessing on your game day experience. Think of what you could do with those bonus bets. Perhaps a same-game parlay? It's when you combine multiple bets from the same game. If everything in that parlay hits, there's a much larger payout in store. But what if DraftKings isn't available in your state? Well, they have daily fantasy contests available where cash prizes are up for grabs in every sport you can think of. The set play is being drawn up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code UTREE. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code UTREE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now how about we talk about the playoffs in question? You may look at these playoffs and think, wow, look at all the parity. A 7 and an 8 seed making it to the conference finals? It's been pure chaos. Then you look at the teams there. Order in disguise is chaos. The NBA has gotten somewhat predictable from the start of the year. But I'll say, the implosions that have happened throughout these playoffs have been absolutely hilarious to witness. And you know how much I love such a spectacle. Let's recap them all. Allow me to refresh your memory. The Pelicans were once first in the West without Brandon Ingram. Their upside is tremendous. And it'd be sweet if Zion could play more than a third of the damn season. His perennial leg injury put him back in the shop. No Zion, no winning. Once he fell, New Orleans sank into the Gulf. They were able to bounce back into a play-in game, but with Zion still undergoing repairs, they fall prey to Oklahoma City. The season thrown away like an inbound pass down by 3. Think of the positives. At least you aren't the Mavericks. Good lord, what a train wreck. 2019 is quite a ways away now, isn't it? You keep trying to run it back with the same players as that year, but there's a certain thing missing. Perhaps it's consistency, since they just couldn't get it into gear. Especially in the play-in game. Well, maybe if they could make a free throw or hold a damn lead, Toronto wouldn't have suffered second-degree embarrassment. The only other attacks shown were fans sending death threats to DeMar DeRozan's daughter for screaming during free throws. God forbid a small child be engaged in the game. The Raptors have done nothing but the same shit over and over. They lack an elite piece to get them over the top, and they couldn't make a shot all season if their lives depended on it. Nick Nurse, you are the token sacrifice. Please step right up and place your head underneath the guillotine. Welcome back to the light, Thunder. Paying for the sins of the move from Seattle has taken a reprieve for the time being. SGA blossomed into a superstar and a chorus is starting to form around him. There's little to complain about when it's the first year of playing relevant basketball after a rebuild. It would have been glorious if you beat Minnesota, but without Chet Holmgren, it felt all but impossible. I think all the draft picks that Sam Presti's accrued over the years may help soften the blow. You'll be back. I was told that this was the year that the Bulls were finally going to break through to become a contender. Thank God I didn't place bets on that, because that hype was all to become the Charlotte Hornets without the arrests. Nothing but endless underachieving amplified by Lonzo Ball suffering a calamitous long-term injury. The play-ins all but confirmed it. When your secret weapon is DeMar DeRozan's daughter, and she can't attend the game against Miami, you'll choke up with 2 minutes left and squander a chance to get destroyed in the first round. Yes, tell yourselves that Miami made it far, so that excuses your failure. Let that comfort you while Nikola Vucevic probably leaves. To add just that bit more of a sting, Orlando as your first round pick. You're one step away from becoming the White Sox. Congrats. I will forever find hilarious that Minnesota traded nearly everything away for a supposed final piece because they want a glorified certificate of mediocrity. Did you really need Rudy Gobert? Oh, but think of the defense, you say, yet ignore that you already had Cat at the 5. Blame this year on Towns being injured, but Gobert doesn't fit the system with Cat in the lineup. Not with another damn big that can't play defense. The only push Rudy gave the team was against another teammate. Wouldn't be the first time he touched something he shouldn't have. Jaden McDaniel celebrated this by fighting a wall. The wall won. Shame on you that you aren't playing the Thunder, but a real contender in the Nuggets. They just come in and push you around like Rudy does with teammates. Made the bitch of Jamal Murray and a joker. Nobody is shocked at this outcome. Better find a way to keep Cat and Ann around. Towns isn't keen on being a power forward. I still can't believe you traded 4 firsts and Walker Kessler for Rudy Gobert. This is why you're perennially shit. The Grizzlies are what happens when you fail to eliminate cancer in your organization. It spreads throughout every fiber of the team. All these fuckers did was talk shit, taunt their opponents, and emulate Memphis itself on an average weekend. A parade inside the city just so they could watch Ja Morant LARP as a gang member by threatening shoe salesmen and pointing a gun at a teenager. Dillon Brooks poking the barrel of LeBron and crushing the King's jewels. This team was begging to get the shit kicked out of them on the court. And how fitting was it to be against a team dealing with a ton of drama and chaos in their own right? When the Lakers are seen as the more likable team, you fucked up. LeBron and company came in as one of the hottest teams in the league and proceeded to punch them in the mouth. If Memphis won't voluntarily remove the tumors, LA will be the chemo that destroys their cells. Fine in the West, my ass. They have to fix this. Cutting out Dillon Brooks' tongue is celebrated by the world. The Grizzlies have to keep Morant away from street life at any cost. Ja, you are pissing away a 9-figure career because you want to get traded to the Bloods. You are a fucking moron. This really is a first. Sacramento Kings aren't a walking joke. They become one of the most dazzling units in the NBA, blessed with an army of elite shooters led by Fox and Sabonis. We're talking one of the best offenses in league history, and the dreams of a deep run tantalize their long-tortured fan base. Unfortunately for them, they can't play defense. And they were up against the defending champ in Golden State. We know how this goes. Endless bullshit and magic keep the Warriors afloat throughout the series. And despite the Kings' firepower, they can't escape the wrath of the old guard in front of them, shooting blanks at the worst possible times. Then came the tragedy of home game 7, where the team was pressed in an industrial crush because Steph Curry happened. What a shame. It's like betting the girl of your dreams only to die before the climax. If you only made that 3-1 game 4, the NBA could have rigged it for the Lakers to win a series over you again. Has there been a more regrettable separation for both parties like Kawhi and the Raptors? Toronto hasn't been anywhere near the same since he's left, and Kawhi's been cursed for defying the will of the gods. He wanted to play with PG-13. Sadly, he wished on a monkey's paw. Less than 120 games played together in 4 years. The Clippers were so busy trying to protect their stars that Kawhi got load managed into another major injury. Torn meniscus. Next season and his career now in doubt. I also forgot to mention Paul George is also out with major injury. So the only person who has a chance to carry you is a declining Russell Westbrook. We know how this story ends from experience. He'll triple-double a team to death yet be unable to do every single thing while slaying an egg in the series-clinching game. CP3 gets his revenge by winning in 5. This was supposed to be a championship contender? With how oft-injured the stars are? You can't even blow it up. Their draft picks are property of Oklahoma City. They're straight up fucked with a capital F. This is what legacies of failure are made of. Oh boy, a strong Milwaukee blessed with a superstar surrounded by quality depth. This is going to be a surefire year of contention and conquering foes. You're a favorite to go to the finals, so the 8th seed should be a piece of cake on your steps to success, right, Bucks? Bucks? Are you going to do anything to try to stop this? It wasn't like this was a tough opponent. You were up against Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and a bunch of undrafted players. They were without Tyler Hero. How the hell do you have no answer for Jimmy? How could you simply wither and die in the most important games of the season? I get Giannis was banged up. It's no excuse as to how you shit the bed. Bud, will you do something to calm the nerves of your men? Yes, your brother died, but if you're that distraught, step away from the team. The Bucks had double-digit leads in the 4th quarter in multiple games. At the very least, call a fucking timeout in the final moments of regulation. How about in goddamn overtime? No, you're just fucking useless. Their inaction has made them the 6th number 1 seed to lose in the first round in NBA history. Against a play-in team. The 2012 Bulls were the last team to do this, and they were injured to fuck. Good news, bud. The local bar's running a special. Trade in the 3 timeouts you saved in Game 5 and get a free appetizer. I'll agree with Giannis. This year wasn't a failure. It was a catastrophic one.
You blew it. Fish.
They made it further than they should have. It gave them false confidence, and now they're paying the price for it. Struggling to launch throughout the season. Bringing in Quinn Snyder to coach did help a bit, but when you're up against Boston, that ain't good enough. They'll do everything they can, including the theft of 2 games they had no business of winning, but Atlanta was simply the inferior team. Game 6 proved it with everyone with a damn shooting blanks. Now you start to wonder about the structure of the team itself. Me thinks that Trae Young can't do it alone. He needs his Shaq. How big to take the heat off him and play off each other's strengths? I'd say trade for it, but most of your picks are now San Antonio's. Was it worth trading for first for DeJounte Murray? History is often repeated when we fail to heed its warnings. When we live in a world where the Knicks have the brighter future, things have gone very, very poorly. The KD and Kyrie show was supposed to elevate the Nets to greatness teased a decade earlier. And technically it did. If you consider endless drama and cancer throughout the organization to be greatness, of course. KD had affairs with other teams and Kyrie had affairs with the Black Hebrew Israelites. The window was a complete failure. KD and Kyrie are gone. At least they got something in return for both, but it all feels way too familiar to ignore. All the way down to getting swept off the court as a final gasp for air. Without superstars on offense, the offense goes to shit. Oh no. Well, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and get to work picking up the pieces. You still have pins. I can't even keep a straight face when I say that. Dude has crumbled like a graham cracker. The modern day Darren Williams. And that's probably insulting to Darren. If only KD's foot was a few inches shorter, the narrative would have completely changed. Somewhere in Russia, Mikhail Prokhorov is getting phantom pain. Analytics gurus had this team as a sleeper pick in the playoffs. I mean, they had some reasoning for it. The first great Cavs team since LeBron up and left them for the trophy wife in LA. A quality chorus of players with tantalizing upside and the best team defense in the league. Of course we know what happens in these situations. They choked up. The Knicks read every move before they even started. Cleveland got outmuscled in 5 games when they had no business of getting crushed. When players are openly saying the lights were too bright for them, that's alarming. This team got tactically outmaneuvered by Tom Thibodeau. That's all you need to say. The Cavs are still missing something. When a team is pants like this in the first round, there are no doubts about it. My only regret is that both the Lakers and Warriors couldn't be knocked out at the same time. LeBron versus Curry in another clash of titans. The result being a reigning king and the first loss for the Warriors in a Western Conference series in this dynasty. LA had a pretty solid game plan. Dominate with AD in the paint and force Golden State to become volume shooters. No need to worry about them on the road. They were dog shit all year when traveling away. We were waiting for them to take that next step, but they just felt off all year. With that being said, you wonder if this is the start of the fall of the dynasty. The core is only getting older. I don't doubt Steph and Clay aging, but Draymond's taken a beating over the years. And good news for you, Golden State, Jordan Poole got a big boy deal. So you can watch all his anti-clutchness for years to come. Draymond should have kept punching. What a waste. A season full of endless drama, a much-needed ownership change, and a failure to truly thrive led to desperation. A huge splash at the deadline from the monkey's paw of Brooklyn. Kevin Durant was supposed to be the piece to get them over the top, but there was one problem. They traded their quality depth to get him. Phoenix now had no room for error. And right on cue, CP3 suffered another significant injury when his team needed him. A killing blow. And DeAndre Ayton was knocked out against Denver as well for good measure. What this leads to is another year where the sun sets early. And they reward their fans with yet another utter blowout at home in a series-clinching game. What the hell do you do? Championship windows being squandered and regression littered the roster. Suns execs are putting in the nuclear codes as I speak. Monty Williams was the first domino to fall. His throat slit by Matt Ishby himself. He's a scapegoat, but extreme situations call for extreme measures. CP3 and Ayton, your days are numbered here. Knicks did something? This is a strange turn of events. Out of all the playoff teams in New York City in hockey and basketball, the Knicks made it the furthest? Freaky Friday has gotten a little too real for us. Brought in Jalen Brunson for a reason, and this was why. An opportunity has been presented to them. Milwaukee is gone, and a deep playoff run is available for the taking. Next, may we introduce you to Jimmy Buckets. He destroyed Milwaukee, and he'll destroy you simply from the splash damage. You'll get your pity win in the series only because Jimmy was out. Even in a year of pleasant surprises, the Knicks must somehow make us feel underwhelmed. Julius Randle had a great season, but he's not a headliner. This series proved it. You need more. Find a way to get it. The Sixers really put their fans through a sexily branded tank for years only to do this to them. The cruelty they inflict on their fans is a violation of the 8th Amendment. This year was their best shot at a title with the talent around Embiid. James Harden dominating games 1 and 4. Boston being taken to the brink with a 3-2 series lead. Doc Rivers' teams blow these kinds of leads in his sleep. Game 6, laying a massive egg at home when the Celtics were giving you every chance to win. But Game 7, that was a masterpiece. Everything is quiet at first, a tight game until the second half. May the torture begin. The process of elimination is such. A 28-3 Boston run. 10 points all third quarter. Joel Embiid and James Harden vanishing from the face of the earth. Jason Tatum managed to wake up just in time to teabag their corpse. Al Horford is a lifelong Sixers troll. A wasted season on top of wasted seasons. You can say it's not Doc's fault, but it keeps happening under his watch. Hopefully it's the last in his extremely overrated career. If you're Philly, you have to explore every option. Harden might be gone and Embiid's going to be 30 next season. The Sixers faithful is rightfully pissed. It's time to turn a new page on this failed window, boys. Perhaps trust the process.
You blew it, man.
The NBA will cry itself to sleep tonight. They will not get their precious Lakers-Celtics final and the ratings bonanza that will come with it. It's a miracle that LA's even here to begin with. Their whole year was rife with drama. Starting the year 2-10 with everyone demanding heads roll. Mainly Westbrook. Eventually they would get their shit together and go far in these playoffs. Unfortunately, this is where the ride ends. Denver is simply a machine that has no time for past flames. They were the significantly better team in all facets. Jokic was the monster that AD was a few years ago. Jamal Murray shot like prime Jordan. LeBron somehow couldn't shoot a three in the first few games, and D'Angelo did his best Westbrook impression. They did overcome a lot of shit this year, but nobody outside of LA is going to feel bad for them. LeBron himself is discussing a word of doom. Retirement. Probably just to escape the shit show of the Lakers themselves. We'll see him in a year when Bronny is drafted. They do have Austin Reeves, who's blossomed into a solid player. So he's an RFA, you say? The downfall and continual choking of Boston sports will never cease to be hilarious. The first city to lose to goddamn 8 seeds in 2 leagues in the same year. You know, it'd be a good idea to show up in the first 3 games of a series. Maybe then you wouldn't be forced to do something that hasn't been done in the history of the NBA. Joe Mazzulla all but came out and said, "I'm incompetent and I don't know what the hell I'm doing." If only Ime Udoka didn't have a fetish for shitting where he eats. But that's not painful enough. You have to get the fans' hopes up in the process. The heat death of Miami was coming upon them. Consecutive blowouts. Capped off by the greatest buzzer beater in franchise history. Only to commit the biggest choke in franchise history. You do all that to discover a passion for bricklaying at home? If I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm jumping on the first flight out of the city. The Celtics are gonna give him the Kyrie treatment this offseason. And unlike him, they won't miss. Please tell me more about this unfinished business that you were mentioning. Hyped up to hell and back only to fall flat when it matters. Billy King has successfully cursed another franchise. It's been a fascinating road here. In terms of hilarious collapses, this postseason's been the cream of the crop. However, we must remember the real victims of these finals. ESPN, who can no longer decry LeBron this season. Talking heads will have to discuss the Nuggets and the Heat. 2 teams that have sniffed around the finals in recent history, but have new blood to consume. Denver's made it here for the first time in their 47-year history. Miami's the first 8 seed to make it here since the 1999 Knicks. There's big contrasts between both. The Nuggets feature a well-balanced unit that's finally had some luck roll their way. Their last 2 seasons were undone to injuries to Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. They're now healthy and have played key roles this season. Murray's been so elite he's doing his best Michael Jordan impression. Not to mention Denver probably has the best big man in the league in Nikola Jokic. He's been so deadly this postseason he's averaged a triple-double, with over 30 points a game. Aaron Gordon's been pretty solid this postseason, and KCP's turned into a goddamn sharpshooter. Depth is a concern, but with their star power, it doesn't really mean much. Miami has their own superstar doing his best carry job as well. His name is Jimmy Butler. All but unstoppable in the first 2 rounds, he's looking for his first ring as well. Besides him, there is Bam Adebayo. Miami's big facing the biggest test of his career for obvious reasons. The real surprise is how the Heat are winning, with undrafted free agents. Tyler Hero has been injured, so most of the load has been on the likes of Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Duncan Robinson. A chorus of unsung depth. But these finals should be cut and dry. The Nuggets should crush the Heat with ease, but Miami hasn't been too fond of lying down to die. Let's hope for a good series. If only so ESPN will talk about the damn Nuggets for once.
White will inbound. It's off to Smart for the 7th game. goes on. It'll be reviewed.
Oh, he got rid of it. That's a Celtic win, and we're going to Game 7.
The Celtics are going to win. There's a Game 7 back in Boston.
Ruling on the floor is good basket. The play's under review.